as is customary, I have led the body of judges of the Edo State Judiciary to pay you the traditional farewell visit. As at today and this moment, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, particularly Section 291 Sub 1, provides that a High Court judge must retire upon attaining the age of 65 years. Come 19th day of May 2023, I will be 65 years old. I must confess that at the time I assumed leadership of the judiciary on the 17th day of May 2021, it was with great apprehension on how the judiciary would survive given the situation on the ground then. By the special grace of God, and I say I could not have wished for a better governor. I immediately discovered that we share the same vision for the overall development of Edo State. I thank God Almighty for giving me the wisdom to know and understand the phenomenon called Godwin Nogagase Obaseki, aka Gio. Your passion to turn Edo State to an El Dorado is legendary. From the onset, I laid out plans to improve on what I met on the ground. How did I fare? I leave posterity to judge. However, from the few comments that filter into my ears, our modest achievements that are widely acknowledged today could not have been possible but for the fact that you stood by me like a rock of Gibraltar. You not only intervene in some of our critical infrastructural and personnel needs, the welfare of judges and indeed staff of the judiciary has been greatly enhanced. With some sacrifice on my part, we have made tremendous progress. But let me say that in my 2 years as Chief Judge, I have only traveled once out of this country and to an African country. CJs in the past could travel every month and sometimes twice in a month. My official vehicle came after a year. I'm saying this to underscore the fact that leadership is all about sacrifice. You have led by example and we have followed. Let me report now, Your Excellency, that letters have come from the National Judicial Council, NJC, inviting our judges nominees to attend the mandatory interviews next week. It's the first interview to be organized by the NJC this year. This is to dispel rumors that have been making the rounds, some of them most ridiculous, regrettably, even by persons who ought to know better. It's indeed a shame. Your Excellency, I most sincerely thank you for your support to the judiciary of Edo State and for making me shine like a star. I implore you to continue in the same spirit with my successor when the time comes.
I think I will end in history as perhaps one governor that had the rare privilege of appointing 4 chief judges in 8 years. It says quite a lot. It tells you about the structure of the judiciary itself and the demographics of the judiciary, and that for sustainability is something we need to think about. I'm glad that the amendment is being considered in terms of extending the retirement age, but I think we also need to take a long-term view, very long-term view, but I mean a generation's view of the judiciary, and see how, the people who are appointed will be positioned and sustain the law for a longer period. So I want to congratulate you that you've worked hard as a CJ and you are retiring in very good health and with a lot of experience, which I hope God will open new vistas for you to use as you move on in life. I want to also thank you for the cooperation which I have received from you in the last 2 years as Chief Judge of Edo State. When we came into office six and a half years ago, and I had the privilege to also swear in the Chief Judge at that time, I made it very, very clear that for us, the judiciary is the bastion, platform on which our democracy rests. And that without law and order, we will not have a viable democracy. And I'm glad that we're all witnesses to what has happened in Edo in the last 6 years, or 6.5 years. That if we did not take steps in the very early stages of our administration to enforce law and order in this state, I'm not sure we'll have had the level of economic and socio-economic development which we have today. That we do is as a result of the support that we receive from the judiciary. So whatever we have achieved as the executive arm of government, a large measure of that success is due to the working relationship we've had with the judiciary. And so for us, it's been very clear that we must ensure that we take concrete measures to strengthen our judiciary and make them independent. And I'm glad that with Justice Archer, we have been able to at least begin to create a roadmap for the judiciary, just as we've done for the executive. A roadmap that should focus on the welfare, the training, and the capacity and work conditions of the judges in Edo State, both judges and the other tiers of the judiciary. A work plan that must insist that the ordinary Edo citizen has unfettered access to justice. By making sure that we strengthen those courts that are, that provide that access, particularly the lower courts, the magistracy, and the other similar courts. We must ensure that we improve the conditions. I mean, all the conditions, because I keep saying there are only maximum 30 judges in Edo State. So why must their work conditions not be the best in Edo? In terms of benefits, housing, office, and post-retirement conditions. I think it's something we need to focus on. And I'm glad that Justice Archer has started that process, which I hope your successor will ensure that we finalize and institutionalize. It's a plan that I'm hoping will look at the whole processes, our court processes again, such that we can expedite access, quick and prompt access of the ordinary citizen to justice. I'm glad at the way you have adopted technology and the other investments that we have agreed to make in the judiciary. I'm hopeful that the infrastructural refurbishment, which you have started, improving our magistrate courts, improving our high courts across the state, making sure that judges in the outstations live and work comfortably, and also ensuring that you provide adequate security for them. All of these which you have commenced, I hope and pray that we will improve on and sustain. As you count down rest assured, you started a process and you must benefit from that process. I know there are court rules or the NJC guidelines that have informed us of the decision on the parting package for chief judges, which we will commence implementing with you. You are living at a very interesting time in our nation's political and our state's political history and evolution process. And we will miss your counsel. We will miss that stability and insight which we've benefited from you through the years. But we'll make sure that you don't travel out of Edo State so that we always have access to you and your wise counsel. I want to thank you for the support that we have received from you and to let you know that the relationship that we have built over the last decade or so is one that will be sustained. Thank you very much.